You want to start? Let's start with the TV show.
Yeah.
I lost your agenda. You had it. You had this awesome agenda.
You can't take my agenda. That was my agenda for my IGTV show. You can't steal that agenda.
I thought it was for us. Okay. All right. So, you know what though? Now I gotta pull up my notes. You had another screen because I made notes while I watched it.
Of course you did.
All right. So let's just talk broad strokes first. I was thrilled that we finally watched an action show rather than a doc style. I'm guessing you also thought that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my kind of high level enjoyment. The announcement was great. The video coverage, I thought of the actual race and having them actually show like running as opposed to like, here they come at one obstacle and they're gone. We'll see you in 3 miles. So like actually the camera person who runs along with these elite athletes is amazing. So props to him or her, or whoever that was.
Well, part of it is
I got double audio because your other thing in the background. But okay.
Part of it is Steve Hammond.
Yeah.
Because I literally saw him in a couple of shots, and then I think they pick a couple of other people.
Yeah, I know he's one of the runners. They got another guy who wears he's wearing a hydration pack and everything, so he's probably out in the whole course. But yeah, the coverage was great, and seeing they kept constant updates on how far apart the races were, and the focus on like the 4 girls coming through all to the obstacles all at the same time, and the excitement that the broadcaster brought. It definitely was the best produced episode of Spartan yet. However, they still use the old introduction, so it was the same intro that they used on the NBC series that they show people kicking bells. And I don't know why they do that when they don't want people to kick bells.
I'm a Spartan.
Exactly. Yes. So, but no, overall, I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. And I love the focus on the women, and I am perfectly okay if we never see another episode about the men.
Had you also watched some of the live coverage?
Yeah, I've watched most of the live coverage. The ones I wasn't at, obviously, but I've watched most of the live coverage, and not every second of it. But I popped in to see the starts. The coverage during a live Spartan race is pretty tough to watch because a lot of times you won't see anything. You'll see drone footage, which does nothing for me. So it's just the guys talking and filling air, and I can only listen to conversations about obstacles for so long before I check out.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the best of both worlds with that live coverage is that you get the live cameras, you get their live reactions, but they're able to go back and show the splits, and maybe they do some of that as VO because I don't think they knew all the splits. Usually, I remember when Bracken did it one time, he was counting. He was like, okay, Hunter just got to the bag 30 seconds ago.
Yep.
I think we might need to lose this IG because I'm hearing myself back.
You getting your echo?
Yeah.
I can't turn you all the way down, so
just turn the IG off is what I'm saying.
Okay. Peace out, IG.
Yeah, we'll try another. I know people do that. I know people have ways to get on multiple platforms at the same time. I just got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was great. We can take back a look at my notes. At first, during the commercial breaks, it was all the Spartan breaks. Like if you remember, that's what it was like the first season on Spartan.
Yeah,
it's like
here's our shoes, race,
Fit Aid, Yokohama. But then as the show went on, they used real ads, so they clearly were able to sell some ad space.
Yeah, and speaking of Yokohama, so I saw their commercial with all their other non-obstacle course racing athletes. I would love to see that commercial in mainstream media. And admittedly, and this sounds odd coming from a TV employee, I don't watch a ton of television now. But I would love to actually see an obstacle course racer in an ad on television. But I've never seen a Yokohama ad anywhere outside of, I don't know, maybe I just don't watch enough Cars and Trucks TV. Maybe they're on those channels. I don't know.
Yeah, just like we used to not see those Jaybird headphone ads with Rose anywhere but the TV show, but the Spartan.
Right. The shirt is too big for me. Why don't you tell me I'm wearing a shirt that's like 4 sizes too big?
Do you have to shop at Big and Tall?
No, that's for big and tall people. I am only tall. Jesus. It's right in the name.
Okay, so I'm Josh Chace. I'm shirt shopping, okay?
Yep.
So as Matt B. Davis, I know what shirt size I wear. Now that I think about it, I haven't bought one in forever, so I don't know. But there's all those little numbers on the back, right?
Yeah. You mean like the neck measurements and stuff you're
Well,
talking about?
I haven't worn a dress shirt or even anything with a collar in so long, I don't know. But like I'm saying, tall, big.
I don't know what you're saying.
What size are you?
I wear a 15 and a half neck. That is not the neck size of a big person, a tall
Right.
person, sure. But I wear like a large or sometimes a medium button-up shirt.
You never wear a medium in your life.
That's not true. I wear medium T-shirts at times, depending on the company. Is this what we're doing? We're puffing out our chest.
Listen,
I don't like this angle at all. Let's do this.
I can wear a medium when I'm at my lowest weight, which is about 3 pounds less than I am now. Okay, there's no way you wear a medium shirt after a race.
I'm gonna take a picture of a medium shirt.
Can we both? Can we? When I see you at the next race, can we both try on the same shirt?
Yeah.
Okay. I especially because these things are historically shrinking.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's a medium shirt that I'm wearing right now. I don't know. I'll have to find it. I know I got them in my drawer.
I bet you can't wear an OCRWC medium.
You're probably right. It's definitely like schmedium on me at that point. It's like
right.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you put on an Ohio 2015 medium shirt, please.
That's funny you mentioned that. The Ohio 2018 shirt, the large was like a triple XL. It was like a 10.
Ohio?
Ohio.
It wasn't in Ohio.
Where the hell was it?
I'm talking about OCRWC 2015.
Oh, no, not that. No. 20. I didn't even get my shirt at the venue because I finished so late. 6th place journeyman. This guy. I had to get my shirt mailed to me.
I remember when that wave took off. I interviewed you guys, remember?
Are you sure? You sure you weren't running from the porta potty to get into your wave because you missed the cannon?
That was the first year.
That was 2014.
2015 was I didn't run. I was hurt.
Ah.
Where were we? Come on, man.
ESPN Spartan race.
Okay.
How'd you feel about the actual coverage of the race to ads? It was swamped with ads, right? I felt like I was skipping forward through ads every 5 minutes.
I think that's misleading. I think it was probably about normal. I definitely was noticing the amount of ads, but I also was noticing how many let's stop the action and check out the stories. And I thought those were not too many.
Yeah.
There was a Lindsay one. There was I wrote them all down. There's a Lindsay one. There was a Rebecca one. And then they used Amelia for a lot of quotes. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I thought I find it odd that let's not get it wrong. Amelia is still part of the sport, but she's not the sport anymore. And I think 3 years ago, Amelia was like the woman in obstacle course racing. And I mean, it helps that she's tall and blonde and aesthetically pleasing, but I wish they would focus a lot more on, they focus on Rebecca, which was a great story, right? She came out of nowhere as a dark horse. And
Cinderella story came out of nowhere.
Cinderella story. But I would have loved to see them focus on, I think Faye got snubbed a bit. I think Rhea got snubbed a little bit. I think Rhea is one of the best personalities in the sport. Lindsay, obviously, of course, as well. But I think move to the folks that are competing, right? Amelia is great for the message and being the introduction to the sport. But I think they're holding on to her. And I think there's a lot of other people they can focus on that have a great story and are amazing competitors.
Well, Josh, I feel like we're going to have a conversation called Josh is New to the World, because what else do we talk about today on text? You're like, hey, look, there's all these butt things on Instagram. It's like, right. How is this news to you, Josh?
Well, I mean, it's maybe I'm just put off by the fact that it's still news 3 years later, right? I look at what Rhea did in Killington. First off, no elite athlete that races Tahoe, they almost never run Killington. They never show up because Killington will murder them before Tahoe. Rhea shows up almost coming off an injury and beats the nearest woman competitor by like 25 plus minutes and comes in like 4th overall against all the men. She dominated that mountain. She got off of the mountain and proclaimed that was like the most fun thing she's ever done. She ran up the death march. She ran the entire thing. And she deserves a hell of a lot more spotlight because she's also a great personality and just a super humble human being. But again, that's my own gripe.
Yeah, I think any brand, I'm trying to think of another word. You'd think I might be better at the words with this job. Any brand or television program, I think they want to hold on to Amelia as long as they can. She's, this great story of this dominant athlete. And as you said, attractive and blonde and with the crazy day job of being a lawyer. I think until, 3 or 4 more people do that over and over, that we're still going to see her on the program. And She still is racing, so we'll see how she does in Tahoe.
She's kind of still racing. I mean, she's like racing. Obstacle course racing is not her primary focus anymore, right?
No, absolutely. But something is having her show up at these, and she's showing up at Tahoe and maybe Atlanta for World's Toughest.
We'll see.
It's interesting what you said, though, because I want to talk about Lindsay for a minute. Did you read what Jack wrote about the women on the article that we put up?
I was going to say, speaking of words, there are a lot of words in those two articles.
Here's
really well done.
Here's the thing. Super well done. As a media company, I know that not everybody wants to dig that deep. And so I thought about doing two different versions, like doing a chopped up one, all the nerds read more here. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, screw it. Here they are. I'm going to put up a couple of like social media posts that make some reference to them. If you want to read more, go to it. But it's all really good data. It's really good information.
Yeah, it's stuff that we haven't seen in the sport, I think, especially the parts where they covered the specific parts of the course where competitors won or lost the event. I think that was a really good insight, and it shows you that how to differentiate yourself from the pack, both what's the word? Now I don't have words. Like actually differentiating yourself from the pack and then doing it in terms of just talking about it. There are parts of courses that will make or break you, right? And I think I listened to your podcast with the Ryans on the way into work today.
Which one?
The 3D. They're amazing, by the way. I feel like they're like 2 6-year-olds with attention deficit disorder. Nothing against folks with attention deficit disorder, but keeping them on topic was probably like trying to herd 2 rhinoceroses. It's like, but then
it's me, and then it's me trying to be the wrangler, right. The person saying, "Let's stay on task here, gentlemen."
One thing that they talked about was you get people, they mentioned, I think Mark Batras, people that are great at obstacles, and they're great at obstacles, but you don't make up any time on obstacles, right? Unless you fail the spear throw, right? Or things like that.
Dude, I've seen it up close, man. Seconds count. I've seen it.
Seconds do count, but you can make up seconds a heck of a lot better by increasing your run time and your climb time on the mountains than you can being very efficient at the platinum rig. I mean, I could probably beat Kevin Gelati through the platinum rig, but that doesn't mean I'm going to beat Kevin Gelati to the finish line. Running is obviously far more efficient in that case.
I know, but just this is what so TMX specifically, watching a CrossFitter and an OCR head to head, and watching a Corinna or a tall, skinny New York Cassidy be right even with a CrossFitter or just behind them, and watching the ease and watch them go through. Mm-hmm. So number one, you've got less time under tension. Great term I learned from E-Rock, right? So that saves the overall body. And B, it's mental. Oh shit, that girl just passed me. Yeah. Even if it's a second or two, right? So it makes I think it makes a huge difference.
I mean, it makes a difference. I don't know if I'd call it a huge difference. I think climbing and running is still primarily the one main focus of the sport, and that's why people like Nicole Miracle come in and they dominate this sport, right? She's a almost record holder NCAA cross country runner, and then you've got Woods has a background in running. All these guys, Kirk DeWitt, right, Kent, all of them, all have a background in running, and that's where you win or lose these races. I think is the speed that you can put outside of the obstacles.
Yeah, I want to pull up that woman article, but I'll get too like in the weeds, distracted if I pull it up right now. But go read it; it's on Obstacle Racing Media right now.
Yeah, 2 great articles, ton of good stats, and if you're a little bit of a numbers nerd, it'll be right up your alley. Yeah,
I want to make it our featured. I meant to make it our featured thing because right now we have that pretty shot of terrain race as a Spirit Airlines plane,
which I loved, by the way. I didn't even need to read the article, and I already knew exactly what it was talking about.
Well, I got to tell you that Chris, who did the writing for this article, we were talking before we even started the article, and he said they're kind of like the Spirit. I go, that's the perfect analogy.
Yep.
Good old Seb David. And should it be basically a running race? That's what he's saying. As opposed to what?
As opposed to TMX, right? 1 mile short course packed with obstacles, which I would love. I would love for a race. Remember at Killington in 2013 or whatever, where Spartan did that like mile obstacle challenge, where they did it like outside in the parking lot. I don't know if you were there, but
of course I was.
Yeah, so that to me would be a massive revenue driver for any race. So take a Savage race, right? I'm not ready to go do 9 miles of your big intense course, but
Well, the Battle Frog TV taping, I thought that was perfect. The first one, it was literally right next to the. Whoa! I'll finish saying this as he comes back. At the Battle Frog TV show in Florida, it was one, quarter mile, bing, bing, bing in a row. And I know we lost him. He's coming back. And I thought they could charge for this, but they never did it. Hey, Josh, do you think Battle Frog's coming back?
Totally.
I was talking about how great that little course was. The second year it was at Lake Lanier, and it was a little weird, but that first year it was right outside the course. It would have been perfect. But to me, this is the same, kind of argument we kind of keep having over and over again, which is, do you want to be the best obstacle racer in the world? Equals OCRWC. Do you want to be the best Spartan racer in the world? Equals Tahoe. And I think never the twain shall meet. I think Spartan is all in on being fucking Spartan, dude.
Yep. Yeah.
We're gonna set you up.
I don't think we're going to see him change.
We're going to make you carry heavy stuff. Yes, Twister's new. Yes, Ape Hanger's new. But we're not ever going to bring you crazy rig, crazy cool stuff you see at OCRWC.
Can we call Twister even new anymore? It's 2 seasons in.
I know, but but it's not a bucket or a carry. It's not a bucket or a spear. So it's like it's new.
New.
You know what I saw on the TV show that I didn't notice on the live coverage? Everybody, even the strongest males, do that backwards thing, and
I do that too.
And Ryan Tarzan that MFer.
I think he only used one handhold. He went from trellis to middle of twister to bell, which was ridiculous. And I don't know why I'm not doing that at 6'4". So I swing and jump the last section of the twister, and it's cool looking, but it's probably very wildly inefficient.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think we've seen anybody do that.
Well, yeah, that was impressive. And I said that I was watching it on the plane, actually coming back from where was I? Maryland this weekend. And I was like, I had to go back and watch it. I was like, he actually only used one handhold and swung through the whole thing. So
Stephen Wilkes said, it's awesome to go on Strava and look at the segments people make. It gives great insight to where people make up and lose ground. Now that came up on the Ryan's 3D episode, that the elites, they do that. That's part of their little research. Oh yeah, I looked at blah, blah, blah. I did it because it was fun for me to see that it took me 3 times the time to do a bucket carry that Atkins did. But, I've heard Bracken talk about it, that they're looking at their competitors on the thing.
Yeah, Strava's like your best friend and your worst enemy all at the same time, because it puts you out in the public against everybody else, so they can go overanalyze you. But, and they were talking you don't make up a ton of space in those, but anywhere you can find a gap or a weakness in somebody. And the great thing about these courses is I don't run competitive in any sense of the word. I'm 60th in my age group because 30 to 39 is stupid. Just the mindset of when you pass somebody, watching them break down mentally because they've gotten past. It's interesting to see how the pros handle that, and then the age groupers handle it, and the open wave is the open wave. It is what it is. But just that mental aspect, right? You get past somebody and they see your back, they're either going to try and kick it in or mail it in, be like, screw it, I'm done. If I saw Ryan Atkins run past me, I'd be like, peace out, bro. Save me a medal to the finish line. I'll see you there.
All right, let's bring we were going to bring, what else were we going to talk about?
I don't know. You have anything else you want to talk about? I don't know. What else do we want to talk about? About the show. Oh, Tahoe. Predictions. Let's do predictions real quick.
Okay, well, hang on a second. Let me check the old the text machine. Oh, Jesus. I want to wait on predictions. I feel like there was something else to talk about.
Okay.
Oh, can we talk about the 2019 spoiler?
Sure.
So I don't think Spartan's happy about that. Like, I haven't heard either way, but I think that Fit Aid just wasn't thinking.
Do you think it's true? Do you think, and for people that don't know, Tahoe 2019, do you think it's true?
Well, much like WTM being announced for a 4th year in Vegas, we pray a 5th year of Tahoe is not announced. This is, in fact, the 4th year, correct?
Correct.
And 3 is plenty. 3 is we're good.
3 is when you have no other option and you have to go back to the 3rd. You absolutely have a fallback. But 4 is just outright. It's like Monty Python. Thou shalt not come back for the 4th.
Right. And I've had some conversations with Joe, and I think he really likes it. I know he doesn't make all the decisions, but maybe Tahoe has given them the deal of a lifetime. I do like, this is good for the sport, that we are seeing West Virginia championship brought to you by West Virginia Tourism, like that's good. That means people are seeing value. Bring this to our state. We'll give you X. Like that stuff's good. I forget who else did that recently.
Yeah, you know what else is you also get revenue from speeding tickets, because when I've been to Killington, I got pulled over twice in 2 years and got 2 speeding tickets. And they're like, oh, yeah, we give tickets to Spartan races all the time because you guys just blast out of here.
They already said on your podcast, who's they, Jamie Lopez? I don't know who they is. No, I think that was a we're doing something for Tahoe, boom, forgetting that 2 weeks, much like, Adrian's big spoiler. We know it's going to be Canada next year. Like we all kind of know it, but then we wait for the announcement. I think they talked out of turn.
Well, that's unfortunate because Tahoe, I think, is just not exciting anymore. And it is certainly a great location and a great venue. And they've got that OCR championship feel where you finish in the festival area and there's a great village and all that stuff. But I think they're missing opportunities. And as much as I would love for it to come back to Killington just doesn't allow for the pomp and circumstance that Spartan needs for their world championship. So I think the mountain would be a great place to have it. But everything else, I just don't see it happening there. But I don't know. Where else would they go? They're not going to go outside the U.S., right? Can we just agree that it's not going to ever be outside of the United States? Not ever, but in the next 5 years?
No.
Okay.
At least, let's say 3 to 5. Heather, you can come back on, by the way. Heather, we're waiting for Heather to jump back on. I'm only happy that it's in Tahoe at least one more year because I haven't been yet and I'm going. But other than that, just watching the Killington, like everybody, like all the Killington coverage, like there wasn't coverage, but like, you were there, right?
I mean, I did do your coverage for you.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember. These weekends run together.
True.
You were there, and Mike and Caitlin were there. That made me want to go back to Caitlin. Freudian slip. That made me want to go back to Killington big time. So for that reason alone, I was like, it just reminded me like of so many. I made, talking about the general store, even though you were being such a fuddy-duddy about it, such a Debbie Downer about because I've been to Killington 3 times and Pittsfield 3 times. So that's 6 trips I've made to that part of the world. It's got a soft spot. It's like OG OCR. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it deserves a little more respect than it's gotten the last few years. And I just like this year that, and again, not taken away from the last few years of athletes there were big name athletes there this year. And it was cool to see them run the race. Right. It was cool to see them run the race and realize how fun Killington is. And, they also took it a little easy on them course-wise. I think it was a little short than it normally, but it ebbs and flows. You got to have a hard Killington. You got to have an easier Killington.
I got to say, as we welcome Heather to the show, I got to say, I was cursing when I saw how nice it. When I see people posting in like t-shirts and shirtless, I'm like, damn it, this is my year to do the UB.
This was your year. This definitely was your year because next year is going to be like 16 miles and ridiculous. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do for the Ultra Beast next year, if anything. But that's a whole other topic we could probably spend an hour on. So
right. Matthew's asking if either of you. I'm just going to say all 3 of us going to England. I think if anybody goes, it would be you, Josh. Right?
I'm like, right. I mean, I really want to go, but it's such an expense because I haven't registered for any race. So if I go, there are great flight prices. Like you can get there for $400 right now, out of Boston at least. Not probably out of anywhere else, but out of Boston, I can go for $400. But then I got to register, which is $200 for the 15K, $100 for the short course. I'm not going to go and not do all 4 events. I got to pay for food. That's a lot of bangers and mash I'm going to eat while I'm there. So. I mean, it adds up a lot. I would love to go, but cost-wise, I don't know. And I hate missing that event because it obviously would be the first one I miss. There's a lot of internal FOMO battling happening here. So
right. Well, I can tell you as a guy who's missed, a lot of events, it's really hard and then it fades, right? Like the weekend of, you're dying, and then a few days after that, you're dying, and then it's like, okay, I'll be back next year. Yeah. Heather Bode.
Hi.
Oh, man, this is going to be one of those things where you sound a lot better than me. I forgot to use
professional recording equipment.
I forgot to use the good microphone because we were going double. We were doing the phone and the thing, and it wasn't working. You are not going to England.
No, I wish. It's just so expensive to get over there.
Or OCRWC. Or WPM.
Yeah, I can't make it to WTM either. But this is the first year I'll be in Tahoe, so
Woohoo!
it's a trade-off.
One out of three ain't bad.
So we are going to throw down. Is that correct, Heather?
Yeah.
You and I.
All right.
Would you like to arm wrestle for starters?
Yes.
I would like to see that. Live stream that, please.
Yeah. Facebook Live.
Now I have a quick question for you, logistical question, because I was trying to I gotta go and come. What are you laughing at, John?
This is where he asks you if you have room in your hotel.
First of all, I am not shy about asking for room in a hotel. That's not what it's about. But listen, I have given and I have been the I have given and I have been the receiver of many rides and many places to stay. I think that's one of the great things about OCR. So no issue with that. But I'm looking at an email I have and it says the awards are like at 12 or something super early. Is it usually actually happen or do they push it till later?
Did they say it's at noon?
Let me look. I can look.
Because if it's at noon, that's realistic. Oftentimes, especially in the earlier part of the year, they had the awards ceremony soon.
No, the OCR, the champion. Although you're saying this is your first time at the championship.
Yeah, I've never been to Tahoe. I just know how they've been doing it with the rest of the races all year long.
Okay, well, because here's the thing. Where is it? So what I was going to say is logistically, it's got to be a quick turnaround for me because even flying home Sunday afternoon, I get home at Monday 1 a.m, right? Because it's 2 flights and the whole schmear. So I think my only chance of running the race is going to be Saturday after the awards. Because Sunday, I feel like Sunday is a great chance to get content, right? People are going to be still hanging around and they're going to do the team race and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So if the awards happen and then I can still get on the mountain before it gets dark, basically. Because I'm a puss and I don't want to go in that top of the water cold one.
Did I hear Hammond say it was going to be 39 degrees?
I grew up swimming in glacier lakes and the Pacific Ocean. I am not worried about that at all.
What?
That's madness. Do they just do a quick, just a straight swim there, or do they do anything in the water at Tahoe?
I think last year it was just a straight swim from what I remember watching.
2 years straight, it's a straight swim, but isn't there also another very high up, what do you call it? Ape hangers?
Yeah, they've got ape hanger, which has water underneath.
Whether you make it or not. Right,
yeah, you got to wade into it.
Yeah, you have to start in the water.
So it's hearing you talk about when I heard Mike and Caitlin talk about it being refreshing in Killington, and I remembered the last year I did it. The second time we had to go into the water. Okay, there's the swim to the thing, right? And if you can't do that, it's 30 burpees, and then if you miss the bell, it's 30 burpees. So it's 60 if you're going to skip the water. Okay,
it's 90 if you're going to skip the water now. If you don't go in the water, it's 30 for the swim, 30 for the ladder, 30 for the Tarzan ropes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So anyway, I got in. They had a PFD. Is it mandatory now for PFD for everybody? I don't think it was at first.
No, it wasn't years ago.
But I took one because I was so weak because we'd already done one lap of the UB, okay? And I got in and I couldn't even dog paddle because my arms were so sore. And I was literally I'm gonna drown. I'm gonna drown. And I got back out. It's beyond take your breath away. Take your breath away is Arctic enema.
2 years ago. So I got to the ropes and everything last year. So before that, it was so cold. I grabbed the guide rope, the one with the buoys that they just line where you're going, and I just grabbed it and I pulled myself and I was like, "This is torture. I hate this. I'm dying." And the poor lifeguard is like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Do I look okay right now? Really?" Look at this. So,
the guy in the boat laughed at me. There was an old timer, probably has worked at that, resort or that lake forever. And he laughed at me when I got out. He's like, "I'm right here. I would have let you drown." And I was like you young, whippersnapper city boy. It's not that bad. I'm like,
yes.
Yeah, I was correct. Ape and dunk wall are over 8,000 feet.
Over 8,000 feet. That's madness.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not as nervous because I've done a lot of higher elevation races this year.
Well, whatever. I'm used to high elevation. I swim in the Pacific Ocean.
I'm not used to high elevation, but I'm not as scared of it as
I eat sharks for a living.
I mean, I do, but
I wonder how many people from the East Coast, and this I'll drop off after. I'm gonna ask my question, then I'll listen to your answer off the phone. You
have to get off.
People, yeah, I'm gonna drop. I gotta go at 1:00.
Well, What do you have, a job or
people?
something?
Yeah, God forbid. You think I just dress like this casually?
Entrepreneur life.
Entrepreneur life.
I wonder how many people go out there and are just completely crushed by the elevation. Because at Utah, the base elevation at the festival area was 5,000 feet. And I thought I was walking with like a weight vest on the whole day. And I had been out there for like 3 or 4 days at that point. But it was so totally different, like oxygen wise, or it could just be that I was out of shape and I haven't done anything in a long time. That's a possibility too. But I wonder how many people just go out there and get absolutely murdered by the elevation.
Did you vape before the event, Joe?
I have not vaped, and if I ever vape, please, you have my permission to slap me in the face and break that weird-looking robot dick over your knee.
That's what I call them.
I'll leave you with that. Enjoy the rest of your show, folks.
Oh, that's the best term I've ever heard for a vape.
Yeah. No, I've heard somebody call that a long time ago. They're like, "Yep, here's my robot dick." So you're gonna race. What time are you taking off on Saturday?
I'm running an age group, so I have to double check my start time. I'm not quite sure, but sometime after the elites.
So you are praying to get back before the awards.
Yes. And I mean, given the magnitude of the event, I think that's possible. I don't think they're going to have the awards ceremony even within an hour of the elites finishing. So I should be okay.
Yeah, I remember in Vermont, it was like the sun was going down, but I think they've gotten better at it and they've done it more during the day. But did you read, did you have a look at the articles about the predictions?
I did. And I actually brushed up right before I jumped on here. They're very thorough. I was very impressed.
They're extremely thorough. Does it line up? Did it change anything you think, or what do you think?
It pretty much lines up with what I thought. It was really interesting though. Cause did you write those articles?
I did not. That was written by one Jack Bauer.
Oh, okay. It was really interesting when Jack kind of named like, these are the top 5 people, the top 5 men in the sport. And I was like, okay, I understand. But like he said it so definitively in the article. I'm like, they've each been beaten by a couple different people this season that are recurring. Like they've been in the top a lot. Like Mark Botras has beat a lot of those guys in various things. And so it was just interesting to me to like so definitively name like OCR's top 5 when it's like this year it's been all over the place.
But I think he's doing it he was saying these is how I think they're going to finish. Isn't that what he was saying?
No, it was like this little blurb before his predictions for the podium. It was like just kind of talking about overall the elite men in OCR. So that was a very interesting point. But I mean, I thought his predictions were really good. And the data was excellent. And so I thought his predictions for the women were right on point. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it turns out. So
because Lindsay can't lose to anyone except maybe Susanna.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see Susanna because did Susanna get first or second last year?
She was second. It was the first time Lindsay beat her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're going to see her again. I'm popping it open.
And they showed a little highlight during the show that Lindsay got to the rig first and failed. And if Susanna had Susanna had won it, if Susanna had gotten through that rig, she would have won the race. So I remember how tense that was, but then she fell off almost right away because they were just like taxed. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's definitely going to be one of those two. The race is kind of for third, and I know that there's a lot of other racers out there and a lot of other women out there, and you can have this be fuel for your fire, but it's definitely one of their races to lose.
Now, I did find it really interesting that he listed Rebecca Hammond as fourth. Admittedly, I haven't listened to a lot of the podcasts she's been on, so I don't know too much about her. I did see, her second place win in West Virginia, and that was really impressive. But I mean, did you
watch the TV show?
No, I didn't.
See? If you've done your homework.
Track it down. I have to figure out where it is. But I don't know, because she's still pretty novice, right?
Right, but she had a really strong showing at West Virginia, and obviously it takes more than 1 or 2 races to show what you've got.
Right.
But if people think those are going to be a predictor because of terrain, etc., then it's a good one. And it's like a who knows type of thing. I mean, it's like Rhea last year. I feel like with World's Toughest, I put her in as dark horse because it's like, hey, she's never done this before, but anything can happen. And what do you know? She made me look really smart. Cheryl Boone says, how do we can access to those articles? I think what she's trying to say is, what are those articles?
How can we access those articles?
And she said obstacleracingmedia.com, and then scroll down a little bit. It's under OCR News. So obstacleracingmedia.com / just scroll down until you see OCR News.
Is Rebecca Hammond pretty proficient at obstacles?
She was in what we saw in the show, and she even overcame a very awkward Tyrolean. She gets you really should watch the show. She got on the Tyrolean.
I need to track it down.
She got on the Tyrolean and looked like someone who'd never done anything in there. She just really got on super awkwardly, and I thought, okay, she's going to fall off this. And I don't know if that's one that you can start over. Somebody wants to correct me on that. You positive you can't start over?
Yeah, it's a one-time through.
Okay, and sure enough, she corrected herself. I think she started watching the two next to her. And that's also awesome. The best thing about that race on Facebook Live or on TV is that as deep in as mile 8, 4 women are all together. And that's, we've not seen that before. So that was really cool to see them all. Like usually you see that in miles 1 or 2, not mile 8.
Yeah, because I think the biggest factor with the women's race in particular is going to be obstacle proficiency. Because, I mean, the things that have made it so exciting in the past few years with the championship are when the women fail obstacles. And that's when the competition changes up. That's when it gets more intense and head to head. So I think, because, I mean, undoubtedly, all of the top women are phenomenal runners. And so what's really going to make the difference is who's the most proficient at obstacles. Because I think that sort of falls by the wayside sometimes.
Well, we had this conversation. Josh and I touched on this a little bit, and I said how those seconds really add up and mentally make a big difference on passing someone on an obstacle. And he said, well, you know, it's so much easier to gain on someone running. But I said, you can't. Obviously, failing is one thing. But I think even putting 2 seconds on someone and then that sort of like, oh, I just got passed, I think that makes a difference.
Oh, definitely. It's interesting. So I just noticed Stephen Wilk said Tahoe was 17 miles last year and she's never ran that far. I wouldn't count that as even if she hasn't run this far. I mean, when I interviewed Rhea after World's Toughest last year, Rhea had never done anything that long. She was just like, I asked her, I was like, what's your strategy going in a month before the race, not having done this distance? She was like, I was just going to run as fast as I could, as long as I could, until I couldn't anymore. And then she won with 90 miles. So just because Rebecca Hammond hasn't run that length before, I don't think that counts her out for not being a potential podium.
I know, and that happens a lot of times at Worlds. Like even I think Amelia had never run maybe more than a half or a full when she first did 70, and then lots of men are like, I've never run this far. But for some reason, I think it does matter on this shorter thing. I don't know what the science is around that, but like Ryan Woods, like has not won the longest races this year, but he's won all the sprints and supers, right? So it's like there's some sort of, you know, and I think I was going to say your friend, but Mike interviewed the Bear, who said, yeah, 2 hours, my body just starts to fall apart. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because maybe it's with the longer races, like you go through that really low point, but then you're able to get out of it and keep going. So maybe with the shorter, like this kind of mid-length, it's like you get to that low point, can't get out.
Has Steve said how many miles it is, or has Spartan said?
I have heard unofficially, I mean, just based people talking to people, I've heard unofficially it's going to be around 14.
Okay, that's a lot better for all of us then, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, unofficial, so don't kill me if I'm wrong, but I heard from someone who had talked to
Well, listen, when you come through the finish line, if I'm still anywhere near the finish line, I'll ask you, what does your watch say? You wear a GPS watch, correct?
I don't have one right now. I lost my last one, and I'm too cheap to get another one. So I will get one for Tahoe, which is
two people in a row said 13.5. I want to know where they got this information. That would be the shortest championship race we've had in a long time. From Hammond on Facebook.
Oh, from Hammond on Facebook. Okay.
Dude, I don't know who that helps the most, but that's short.
That's really, no, that was my first thought. I was like, oh, I was actually kind of disappointed. I really wanted a longer one. I like the longer courses.
Yeah, I wished for a longer one the first year I did Killington and absolutely regretted it. I was like, I hope it's more than 30. And I was like dying and hated it. All right, well, listen, what day do you arrive?
I'm driving up Friday, so I should be there Friday around noon.
Well, that's wonderful. That's about when I land.
Yay!
And we'll meet up in the village there. Are you staying in the general vicinity?
Yeah, I'm staying in a house that's pretty close by.
Okay.
So.
We'll make you give up the address. We don't want you to have stalkers.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
All right. Good talk. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.